Good evening, football fans, and welcome to the 30th and final week of the United Soccer League schedule. It's the Charlotte Independents playing host to the Charleston Battery for the last time in the regular season, and it could quite possibly be a matchup in the postseason. Charlotte starving for points with an opportunity to rise to as high as third, but could fall to as low as 6. And for Charleston, they have an opportunity tonight with 3 points to possibly get the 2 seed, but they could even fall out of a possible hosting playoff situation. Again, Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us. And Devin, the playoff picture says it all. So much on the line here tonight.
Well, I think we start with Charlotte. They got to stop the bleeding and stop it fast. You know, they've lost 4 in a row winless, and actually their last 5. They do not want to make it 5 losses and out of 6 total going into the playoffs. So that being said, they're going to look to come in tight tonight, get 3 points, get up on the board early, and cement themselves. And
Romario Williams hasn't been himself since the Gold Cup. A man who has stepped up and scored bags of goals as of late is Javier Corvades.
7 goals in his last 5 matches. Guy's on fire. So even though Williams has been away at national team duty, he's done great for them up top. He'll beat you on the sideline. He'll beat you on the set pieces. Got some solid dancing moves, but the last thing Charlotte want to do is give him space early so that he can make an impact on this game.
Absolutely. And on the other side of the ball, a man who hasn't scored in a number of weeks, but is still in the race for the Golden Boot. They need him tonight as well as in the postseason, Enzo Martinez.
Well, and it's crazy to think that because he's chasing down the Golden Boot. People are referencing his name as possible an MVP candidate, but you know, Charlotte wants to focus on this 90 minutes tonight. Let's get him the player of the game. Let's get him a couple goals. Whenever he scores multiple goals in a game, they're 9-0-1. So that's not a bad stat to have in your favor.
Charlotte Independents have not put in a goal against this Charleston Battery team yet this season. They're looking to find the back of the net here tonight. And now the starting lineup brought to you, as always, by Novan Health. And you have Javier Corvades up top, filling in for Romario Williams. You could see those two possibly starting in the playoffs. And then the back line for Charleston, truly stout. Forrest Lasso and Taylor Mueller, not only great defensively, but dangerous on set pieces.
Well, and they love having Lasso back after the yellow card accumulation. Had to sit out for a suspension, unfortunate, but like you said, he's back. Chang and Higashe on the outside. But my thing is for Charleston, who's going to win the middle of the field? You know, they really need Portillo and Anunga to step up, combine with Guerrero, get up to Cordovez, and doing it on the road is going to be very difficult when you have to come in to Charlotte. It's a rough place to play.
Absolutely. And then on the flip side for Mike Jeffries, they obviously have been missing somebody in the middle of the park, 33-year-old from Japan who doesn't get a lot of credit. Obviously, the Martinez brothers will sometimes take a lot of the spotlight, but June Marquez Davidson, back from injury, missed over a month. They've really missed him in the middle of the park.
Well, and look at the right side of the pitch. You're going to see Mike Jeffries putting them in combination with Joel Johnson, Enzo Martinez. He's going to look to capitalize on that side of the field. Don't sleep on his younger brother, Alex Martinez. Quiet as of late. He came back from suspension, and Jeffries telling us as well they're really working on getting him more involved in the play, build that confidence, and build everything going forward because, again, solid performances, no goals, no points.
Absolutely. Well, it's a Southern Derby rivalry matchup to wrap up the USL regular season for these two, but I have a feeling there won't be much Southern hospitality. Charleston and Charlotte when we come back.
What 2 items do you always have with you? Your phone and your wallet. Now they go even better together thanks to the Atomic Charge Wallet, the best wallet you'll ever own. And watch this, it can even charge your phone. The Atomic Charge Wallet has a rugged aluminum casing that can withstand drops and shocks and is lined with the latest RFID blocking technology. Yet it's so lightweight, it floats away with this balloon. The Atomic Charge Wallet holds everything you own, yet it's so slim it can slip easily into a purse or pocket. The next time your phone starts to die at the worst possible moment, simply plug your Atomic Charge Wallet into your phone.
Act now to get your Atomic Charge Wallet for just $19.99. But wait, order now and you can get a second one absolutely free. There's no additional charge to ship it to you, just $19.99. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-426-0175 to get your Atomic Charge Wallet. So call 1-800-426-0175 or go to atomichargewallet.com.
Decorating outside takes forever. Well, not anymore. Introducing the amazing Window Wonderland, the revolutionary new projector that transforms regular windows into dazzling displays. Just add the adjustable screen, then point and shoot, and the built-in movies create a magical wonderland outside your home. Celebrate this season with jolly gingerbread men, adorable puppies, happy snowmen, and so much more. Call now and get Window Wonderland with 6 built-in holiday movies and viewing screen for just $59.99. And we'll ship it all for free. But wait, we'll include 6 spooky Halloween movies absolutely free. You'll also get a deluxe audio upgrade free. Just connect any speaker and bring your movies to life. But there's still more. You can double the offer and receive a second set. Just pay a separate fee. Get Window Wonderland today. Call now.
Call 1-800-801-2528. That's 1-800-801-2528. Or visit windowwonderland.com. So call 1-800-801-2528. Order now.
Welcome back to the Sportsplex at Matthews as we are just wrapping up the pregame processions. Tyler Terrence along with the incomparable Devin Kerr, and so glad to have you with us on this spectacular evening in Matthews, North Carolina, just a stone's throw away from downtown Charlotte as the Independents, who have been faltering as of late, in desperate need of 3 points and still have a possibility to host a home playoff game. And really, Devin, it's kind of shocking to be saying this in the last week of this season, that a team who's really sitting atop the Eastern Conference now has the possibility to have to go on the road to Rochester in the first round.
I mean, the last place anybody wants to play is Capelli Sports Stadium. It's so difficult to go in there. What a hostile environment. Such a valued and storied and historic building in general. And, you know, Charlotte, like you said, they've just really fallen behind the 8 ball and can't put it together. Mike Jeffries telling us that they've put in some good performances, but, you know, we referenced it as well. They can't put goals away, and it's crazy to think with all the offensive talent they have on the ball. So, you know, unfortunately, Jeffries is telling us they're going to try and get back to basics. He's going to switch a couple things up.
All right, we are almost ready for kickoff here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Again, Tyler Terrence and Devin Kerr, glad to have you with us on the 30th and final week of the United Soccer League regular season schedule. Regardless of the results, both Mike Anhauser and Mike Jeffries are going to be in the postseason. Obviously, Mike Anhauser is a staple in the United Soccer League, played for the Charleston Battery, and has been a long-stay coach for this side and really has done a terrific job.
Yeah, phenomenal job indeed. And then on the other side of the ball, Mike Jeffries stepping in. I mean, the two of them, they go hand in hand. You mentioned their names. You think excellence, you think greatness, and you think the USL. So it's nice to see those guys continuing, pushing forward, and helping their teams gain points and move up the tables each and every year.
And Mike Jeffries, of course, was one of the disciples helping out with the Chicago Fire. When he started coaching, he played at a very high level, played for the U.S. men's national team, and we actually asked his opinion of everything that's been going on with all the turmoil with the U.S. not qualifying for the World Cup. He said, let's everybody take a step back, take a deep breath, and reevaluate once all the emotions calm down. Very refreshing to hear from a man who really has a very cool demeanor about him, even throughout the entire process of not only the U.S. men's national team, but the way his team's been playing as well.
Well, and I think with Mike Jeffries, that was a very polite way of pleading the fifth, if you will. No, but he's right. You know, people need to get back to basics, take a step off, take a breather, remove some of the emotion, and try and figure out things to better off each and every situation. But like you said, his goal right now is to figure out what he can do for his squad here locally. Let's find a way to get this thing back on track again. Decent performances, but just not putting together the full results.
Absolutely. And one more time before we kick off, we are going to take a look at the playoff picture just once more to give you an idea of exactly what's at stake. And you see here, Charlotte, as it stands, would go on the road to travel out at Rochester. But with 3 points tonight and a result out of Rochester, meaning not a win, but rather a draw or a loss, and they can move into a hosting situation. However, if Rochester is to get a win, they do still have an opportunity to host, but that's only if it is a 3-goal win against the Charleston Battery due to the goal differential that Charleston currently holds, which is obviously 6. If you put in 3 and they concede 3, then it becomes level, and Charlotte would then have the tiebreaker. That is the only way that if Rochester wins tonight, that Charlotte can still host a playoff game.
That's right, Tyler. And then on the other side of the ball, Charleston Battery with the Rowdies already finishing off their season. Rowdies sitting 2 points ahead. Battery come in. If they end up taking 3 points, they're going to move into that second position. So a lot of slipping and sliding that can go on in the final few moments here of this league, but very exciting, super fun to watch. And again, it's going to be real interesting to see who can cement those home games, because each and every team coming down the stretch has had a real problem playing on the road, so it's only going to benefit them to be one of those top 4 spots.
Absolutely, and we mentioned it before, but Rochester is really the last place that you want to go. We can't really stress that enough. And again, as we mentioned before, it is shocking to be saying this, but Charlotte are on the brink of not hosting a playoff game. Charleston on the other side, well, they've obviously locked in their spot in the playoffs. They want to be able to get that second seed. It's a big deal to be able to host 2 games if everything goes according to plan in the first game.
Well, a huge deal. And referencing Rochester one more time, we spoke with Bob Lilly, and he said, I don't care who we play. If we can get people to come to us, everything's gravy.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, gravy, Southern Derby rivalry time. We're underway from the Sportsplex at Matthews, Charlotte, and Charleston to do battle for all 3 points and to perhaps continue to jockey for position in the Eastern Conference standings. Again, I'm Tyler Terrence. He's the incomparable Devin Kerr, and we could not be happier that you're joining us here on a Saturday evening to watch a little United Soccer League football. And right off the bat, Charlotte starting off with possession. They're coming off a very tough loss against Louisville City. Again, you know, Slugger Field, one of the tougher places to play in the United Soccer League, but Louisville did the job. They were able to put in 2 goals, 2 scrappy goals, albeit. But when you talk to Mike Jeffries, he said it was another decent performance, but at the same time, just haven't been able to put away their chances. Same story for about the past month and a half.
Yeah, the ghosts that have been plaguing them for a while just continue to follow them around to each and every venue, which is extremely frustrating. And we said, you know, you obviously have the talent offensively, but have you changed anything up from a tactical or training standpoint to help move things forward?
Herrera trying to find Martinez. Estrada gets a little touch over to Alex Martinez. Now Austin Yearwood being encouraged forward, squaring it across, takes a deflection. The shot comes out and it's blocked in front. Great start for Charlotte early on. They'll keep possession. Estrada trying to go out one more time for Yearwood. And again, this is how the Mike Jeffries teams love to play. The outside backs just pushing so far up the field. But we've seen time and time again with this side, it leaves them exposed at the back.
Very much so, and you and I have spoken about that before. I think they're amazing going forward. They're an absolute beautiful delight to watch. It is absolutely amazing football, but as they tend to push the possession and push the pace forward, slowly moving that back line up the field, they start to expose those outside backs. Joel Johnson, so talented, when he makes those runs, gets exposed. Teams go with pace, they go with numbers, and they get caught off get caught out of position, which has in turn led, like last game, led to 2 goals, although bounced around the middle, end up going down 2. Fought back, 2-1, couldn't get a result.
Joel Johnson tripped up on the outside, and you mentioned how far the fullbacks are going to be pushed forward. Can we expect to see them getting even more forward and more forward consistently given the situation at hand right now?
Well, we brought that up to Jeffries as well, and he said, listen, we're going to try a couple different things out, incorporating some new things from the training ground. So I think that'll be an interesting question that we hopefully are going to get answered in the early moments of the game. But I think if you're Charlotte, you got to throw everything forward, get back on track, and just go for glory because, again, the last thing you want to do is go on the road, and you don't want to go in with a 5-game losing streak.
Joel Johnson able to keep in play for the moment, but Charleston are going to claim it. Battery coming off of a thrashing of the Harrisburg City Islanders in their last game. Cordovez with 2 goals, Guerra with a goal as well as Quentin Griffith from the fullback position as well. And Charleston Battery do have one of the best back lines in the United Soccer League, being anchored by Taylor Mueller and Forrest Lasso. Lasso, one of the leading goal scorers on this Charleston team. He's got 6, and those are basically all from set pieces.
Your center back's one of your leading goal scorers. I feel like I'm having visions of myself from the grand old days. But that being said, yeah, extremely talented. You know, I had the pleasure of watching their last game and did some recent tape viewing as well. And I mean, they are very impressive coming forward as well. They don't incorporate the backs as much, but they are still a very possession-oriented team. But the biggest thing about Charleston, I like to call them the chameleon of the USL because they'll throw numbers at you. They'll go 100 miles an hour. They'll sit back. They'll stay compact, slowly move the ball up like Charlotte does. They'll beat you on set pieces. They'll beat you on corners. So they're just kind of dangerous all over, and you never really know what's going to be thrown at you each and every night.
Well, Charleston has been able to adapt to whatever Charlotte's been throwing at them over the course of the season, as Charleston have come away with both wins early on, one back on April 1st and then the most recent one on September 20th, as this one sent all the way towards the back post. Yearwood going to try to bring it down. Clever little back heel. Alex Martinez back into the area, but nobody home. And Charleston will get a partial clearance, and Charlotte continue to make camp in the Battery's end.
Yeah, in this entire series, Charlotte going 2-5-2 versus the Battery, and as you mentioned, those recent performances, a 3-0 loss and a 2-0 loss. So not only was it a loss, it was clinical. So very important for Charlotte, again, to get things started early. I think they've struggled doing that on the road and at home. So if you can get started early, that's only going to give you more confidence as the game moves on.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because Mike Jeffries at the beginning of the season said that this was a team who gave up early goals but had such good grit, determination, and resiliency that they were able to bounce back quickly. It just seems like they might have lost that spark, lost that fight a little bit, that when they got down early, it became a more of woe is me type situation rather than, okay, now we need to wake up.
Well, and you end up getting into those situations. You'll go through spells where everything's going right except the 3 points, except the balls in the back of the net. And that's frustrating for a manager, and it's frustrating for a player. But that's when you start to switch things up. Conversing with Mike Jeffries midweek, he decided he was going to take the lads bowling, so that was kind of fun. You know, get some camaraderie going within the squad, and makes things nice and easy for the players. You don't want to overpress them, because then you get in their psyche and they may get their heads down, but at the same point in time, they are professionals, so they have been working a little bit extra in the final third on attacking and kind of breaking down back lines to see if they can change things up and start putting some more goals away.
Enzo Martinez, we'll go back to that bowling part in just a second, as Martinez is dispossessed, but Charlotte going to claim possession. We asked Mike Jeffries, of course, who the best and worst bowlers are. He wasn't going to throw the worst bowler on the team under the bus, and pardon the pun with the Charleston Battery, who had a flat tire for their bus at the beginning of the game, and they had to Uber over to the field from the hotel. But the best bowler on the team, believe it or not, is the Colombian Jorge Herrera, a man who hasn't scored since July 29th, but maybe his high scores at the alley will translate into something on the pitch.
It's crazy that he hasn't scored in over 2 months. He's still got 12 goals. So, yeah, I mean, you're hoping that that's what happens. He also said that the goalkeepers were actually pretty solid as well, which you can imagine with the hand-eye coordination. But, again, Jeffries kind of probably going through his book of some things that worked for him and his other clubs and things that he learned growing up in the old days to try and help players out, help them relax, because at the end of the day, this is fun. I mean, you're getting to go out there and make money and do this for a living. So you want to apply the right amount of pressure, but you don't want to push your boys in the wrong direction.
Absolutely, and they have their playoff spot. They're there. Obviously, with the situation that they were in a month and a half ago, everybody thought, okay, we'll be hosting possibly 2 games, and now they're in a situation where they might be traveling to the Capelli Sports Stadium, as we've mentioned time and time again, one of the toughest places to play in the United Soccer League, not only the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean, again, Rochester, such a storied venue in general, in the club, championships, U.S. Open Cup runs, obviously. I mean, we all know about that, and they're picking up some steam too. Again, Lily's saying that they have all the confidence in the world as we see some solid combination play coming out of the back by Charlotte.
None other than the Martinez brothers, who seem to sort of have some sort of brotherly telepathy going on. Enzo Martinez will claim possession, and something I don't think Enzo gets a lot of credit for is the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, Mike Jeffries' teams like to press and move forward, and you're not going to be able to do that if your strikers don't have a defensive mentality when they lose the ball.
Well, and he's got that work ethic. Both he and his brother do. I think all 3 of them up top do. And that when they do turn the ball over, it's all right, job's not over, job's not done. Continuously turn around and push with pace. And it's interesting, because they play such a possession-style game, you would think that they would almost sit back and backtrack a little bit, start over, figure things out, but it's almost like a high press where they continue to go with numbers, and it's very impressive to watch. The thing you have to watch, though, is over time, that'll eventually start to break players' bodies down, and Jeffries may have to look to his bench a little bit sooner than he'd like.
And we do have an update for you on the Rochester Rhino-Gones. They're taking on the New York Red Bulls 2, and it is 1-1 in the second half. So as it stands, as far as the Rochester score is concerned, that is best case scenario for Charlotte, as this one is sent back into the box but cleared away by Lasso. So if everything can hold there for Charlotte, they do have an opportunity, but it starts with 3 points here tonight. A draw or a loss will not get themselves and the Jackson Militia to be able to host a playoff game. They need a little bit more than that. They need to get a win, as that's going to be a foul. Looks like Ta Nunga is getting a talking to by Daniel Gutierrez, as it's Enzo Martinez who went down. Take another look at it.
And Martinez down on the pitch, rolling around, a little bit of agony, and Anunga just letting him know that, hey, pal, I'm here. I'm going to be your shadow for the night, if you don't mind. Hang out, we'll be friends.
You really think they'll be friends?
Best of friends. They're the two best friends that anyone ever had.
Agree to disagree. So a set-piece opportunity now for Charlotte. Not even 10 minutes in, Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr here in Matthews, North Carolina. And an always pensive Mike Jeffries looking on to see what his team can produce off a set-piece. Doesn't get past the first defender. However, they will keep it. We haven't really seen Charleston with the ball in Charlotte's third just yet.
And I'll tell you what, that's something that's been plaguing them as well. We have not seen a great delivery from their set pieces as of late. You know, Herrera just knocking it to the near post, and the Battery all set up for it. Again, decent spacing, but the marking is there for the taking. You saw a lot of guys sitting on the back post, but you got to give them an opportunity to get to it, and they just haven't been able to do so in the past few matches.
Florian Velo and Johan Graf with the goals in the Rochester New York Red Bulls 2 game. Again, that is 1-1. Right around the 56th minute, so we'll continue to keep you updated on that as we are in the final week of the USL regular season, and that of course means all sorts of head-spinning playoff scenarios that will play themselves out over the next 24 hours. Henry Kalungi, good distribution to find Alex Martinez, holds it up nicely. June Marquez Davidson. The Spaniard Joel Johnson sliding it through, hoping for David Estrada. But again, Lasso is there, but it seems like Charleston is having a tough time of figuring out the movement in the middle of the park for Charlotte. That's why they've been able to be so successful.
Yeah, I referenced the midfields were definitely going to be the dynamic duos to overtake this match tonight, and Charlotte definitely winning that battle so far.
Lewis Hilton. Much better tempo for Charlotte than we've seen over the past few weeks. But again, if it doesn't result in anything in the back of the net, it's really just the same old story.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tyler, for sure. And I'm sure Mike Jeffries has that in the back of his head early on in this match. But what's interestingly enough is if you look at the spacing in the center of the park for the Battery, they're actually just conceding a boatload of space, almost inviting Charlotte to come forward. You have to wonder what conversations have gone on in the dressing room for the Battery as to whether or not they're content with sitting back on the road and either A, trying to play for a point, although it's still very early on, trying to play for a point on the road, or just sit back and go on the counter, because I mentioned they are very capable of doing that.
Austin Yearwood. Lewis Hilton. Great little combination play. Estrada back for Enzo Martinez, and look at that save, but it's offside. Well, Cooper did extremely well to keep it out. It won't necessarily count, but just a quick flash of what he's capable of.
Yeah, what a solid save by Odisnell Cooper, but the buildup from Charlotte was absolutely gorgeous. Ball, again, moving on the outside back coming up, playing it in. Nice little 1-2 up top, and you see Martinez running through, but you got to wonder, great save, but again, nice little touch, basically right at the goalkeeper. So his finishing skills not really honing up at this point in time in the match, but much more impressive from Charlotte.
That's what we're used to seeing from the Charlotte Independence team is creativity, ingenuity in the final third, interplay. And it just seems like it went missing. You know, it wasn't only the finishing that we saw, but it wasn't as clean, it wasn't as fun, it wasn't as creative as we were used to seeing over the past month or so.
Yeah, their style of play, it's kind of like the tempo rhythm, like a quick, slow, where it's slow, methodical balls moved around the field. And then just like you see there, ball ends up with Enzo Martinez, who shifted over from the other side of the park. Great little 1-2 up top. And then the next thing, with Estrada, and then the next thing you know, he's isolated one-on-one with the goalkeeper. But like you said, Tyler, they've been lacking as of late, and you're hoping those drills that Jeffries has referenced to us of things they've done in the final third to better off their finishing skills are going to carry over into this match.
Herrera has his pass cut out, and obviously Charlotte Independence fans and a lot of just USL soccer fans in general remember the run that the Charlotte Independence went on earlier in the year. They had a number of games won in a row, and then it was an unbeaten match streak that unfolded eventually into 12. And that was back on August 12th. Their loss to Ottawa, which broke that streak. Since then, 2-5-2 and a real struggle to try to find the back of the net, and it's really just been the story. I don't know if you were ever part of a team like that, Devin, that was extremely successful in one part of the season, and then, you know, you don't want to call it a collapse, but that's what it sort of feels like for the Charlotte side. You know, towards the end of the season, is it a hangover from how you were doing at the beginning of the season, or is it just the ups and downs, ebb and flow of a football season? Is Charlotte unable to link that one up?
Well, I think with Charlotte, the best way to answer it is probably with one word. It's just irritating. And I use that word and I choose it wisely because when you go back and look at their performances, although they're missing things here and there in the final third, they're actually not turning out a bad all-around match. You know, again, they're not scoring goals, but they're pressing teams. They're putting some nice balls together, you know, some decent runs of possession. So they're not coming out and just having an absolute blinders where they're getting blown off the park for the most part. You know, they're coming out and they're controlling games like they're doing now, and, you know, they're just lacking that extra little finesse and spark, and as a player that it gets irritating over time, and you get in your head and you start thinking, oh man, is this going to happen again? And I have been a part of that. It's frustrating, it's hard, but again, it just goes back to the final statement of you're a professional and you got to find a way to get out of it.
Great challenge on the outside from Taylor Mueller. Stopped Joel Johnson in his tracks, and then it looks like it's going to be a foul on the far side. Looks like it was Lewis Hilton who was the culprit on that one. Agashi getting the worse end.
Hard to believe that Lewis Hilton would be stepping in so rough and tough in the attacking third.
Charleston desperately just trying to hang on to the ball for more than a few seconds as Charlotte has really dominated possession in the opening 15.5 minutes.
And Jeffrey's told us we might see some different things from the Independents here tonight, and I think you're seeing it right now where they're playing such a high press on the defensive side of the ball. In recent matches, a little bit more content, especially in the Louisville game. They sat back a little bit more and kind of allowed them to gain possession and push the ball up the field. Jeffrey's saying that that was their fault and some tactics were off, so definitely pushing some things in differently early on in this game.
As we mentioned earlier on, really just the first time that Charleston has had clean possession of the ball, 80% in favor of Charlotte. Obviously, that number will change and be a little bit closer in the possession statistic as the first half moves along, but just goes to show, and it's a dangerous game that Charleston is playing. Settling for a point here doesn't get you clear of that 3 spot. You could fall to 4 and then have to face Charlotte in the first round, and, you know, obviously if you're Mike Anhauser, you don't want to face what is probably the best 5th seed in the history of the United Soccer League, the Charlotte Independents, but you know, you basically are hoping and praying that Rochester is going to get a result or is going to have a tie, at the very least a tie.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I think that's the wrong way to look at things. I would not bring my squad in here and try and play for points in that manner whatsoever. I think they got to go out and try and get a win and try and take advantage of a Charlotte squad that's been struggling as of late. You know, you got to think that they've got a boatload of confidence, regardless of who they're playing. But anytime you're going in and a team's lost 4 in a row, you got to smell blood in the water and go for the attack.
Well, this is a Charleston team themselves who have sort of hit bumps and bruises along the way as this one is sent through, but Cody Mizell coming off of his line and able to handle it cleanly. And Charleston was a team who was atop the Eastern Conference towards the beginning of the season. Gold Cup happened. Romario Williams was never really the same. They started to fall back in the standings. People are saying, well, where did the Charleston Battery go? But they were still getting results here and there. They were getting a point here, point there, maybe a win. And now they're starting to put it together towards the end of the season. And really, that's the situation that you want to be in, where you're starting to play better football. Maybe not your best. You'd probably say that Charleston's best football came in around April and May, as Ducka clears it away and Charlotte will reclaim possession.
Yeah, Tyler, you could even argue into the early days of June, faltering into the latter portion. But I think one of those situations there was they were very front-loaded with home games as well, and their home record is amazing.
Joel Johnson getting forward. The Crown sensing a potential goal. Johnson towards the back post, hoping for Enzo. A big header towards the back post, but Cooper never troubled. And Enzo Martinez puts up his hand as if to say, my bad, I'll do better next time.
Yeah, Enzo Martinez in disbelief that he could actually have made such a poor decision in that situation. I'm screaming for Johnson to play that to the back post all the time in the world, and you almost wonder why he doesn't, A, just put it on frame first and foremost if you're going to go for it, bring it down off your chest, reset, or knock the ball back to the top of the box, but definitely not an effort like we just saw.
I have to believe that Mike Jeffries isn't happy with the way that that play finished, as continues to be the same story for Charlotte over what's been really the past 2 months or so. A little over 2 months now since that loss against Ottawa, which snapped the 12-match unbeaten streak. Justin Portillo really makes this team go in the middle of the park. Great sliding challenge from June Marquez Davidson to break up the rhythm. And that's one of the things that Mike Jeffries said that his team missed the most, was just him being able to cut out passes. He doesn't have blazing speed or athletic capability, but he has such a great soccer IQ. Joel Johnson. Big switch over for Alex Martinez. Austin Yearwood trying to join him. And Alex Martinez dispossessed. Moans and groans from the crowd here. The Sportsplex at Matthews, and good work from Cordovez as Charleston are working their way up.
And well done by Kalungi, recognizing that his back has made his way up the pitch. Austin Yearwood trying to get involved in the play, and great job by the center back shifting over, forcing Cordovez to knock it out.
Well, Quentin Griffith over here on the right side certainly has his work cut out for him. At any time, it could be Alex Martinez or Enzo Martinez or David Estrada for that matter, who he's matched up with 1v1, and that's the beauty of this Charlotte attacking third, is that you never really know who's going to end up where. Get different looks all over the field.
Yeah, Mike Jeffries got a lot of interchangeable parts, and sometimes you and I look at the starting lineup, we have a chat, and where's Alex playing tonight? Is he on the right? Is he in the middle? Is he up top? And you know, same thing with Enzo. They're switching everybody around, and you know, that could be a frustration for them in the attacking third as well, because you kind of get lost in translation trying to figure out what role you're playing at what point in time, and everybody's so quick to jump on these guys' backs saying, oh, they're professionals and they should be able to get it done. But at the end of the day, it is still a chess match, and a chess match that sometimes so many pieces are moving so fast and you're thinking so many moves ahead that you just need to actually slow it down and get back to basics and just play with what's right in front of you.
Big penetrating ball. Good touch from Enzo Martinez. Herrera. Goes out wide for Joel Johnson. Now Enzo Martinez. Stopped in the middle of the park. Looked like a pretty clean challenge. At least that's what Daniel Gutierrez thought.
Become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive news and interactive content.
Charleston more than happy to give Charlotte the ball in this territory. Austin Yearwood. Wrong foots Griffith for a moment. Gets it to Alex Martinez, finding his brother Enzo. Enzo going for goal, but always going over the bar. Again, it's a good move from Charlotte, but the finished product not exactly up to par.
Yeah, just lacking that final finesse and touch in the final third, but again, moving the ball well, getting up the left side of the field, using the left side a little bit more than I thought they would. They tend to shift things over to Johnson and favor the right side of the pitch. You would think so even more with Davidson back, as our head referee has a word with Quentin Griffith.
Well, we mentioned Jorge Herrera hasn't scored since July 29th. Enzo Martinez hasn't scored since September 2nd. Those two accounting for 28 of Charlotte's 48 goals this year.
It's pretty good.
But obviously you run into the problem. If both of them go cold,
yeah,
you have a serious problem on your hands.
Up the creek without a paddle, so to say.
Or without a goal.
It is always nice to see Alex Martinez proving once again that he's a pro at conversations on the pitch. I'm sure Daniel Gutierrez appreciates all the camaraderie he's going to get this evening.
Van Schaik trying to get forward. Charlotte backline doing a good job. Sent over the head of Lasso. Clever little bicycle kick clearance. And bad news for Charlotte fans as the Rochester Rhinos have put their horns out in front. Bernardo Forbes scoring a goal for Bob Lilly's side as they now lead the New York Red Bulls 2-1. This one sent across, and that would have been a really bad sort of 15 seconds for Charlotte, giving up a goal and then having Rochester score as well. There is one scenario where Charlotte can still get a home playoff match if Rochester is to get a win, and that's a win of 3 or more goals against Charleston here tonight, which is certainly a tall task and even taller for a team that's been struggling offensively.
You would hope that they would be able to press into the offensive third and let those floodgates open naturally, not hoping that they have to press and push even further to move up.
Free header. Last touch off of a Charlotte defender, and it'll be another corner for Charleston.
Cody Mizell thanking his center backs there, but not the greatest of marking as that ball swung into the back post. Mizell needs a little bit more communication, get those guys organized. Where it is, Mizell's on the short list for possible USL Goalkeeper of the Year.
Certainly in some good company. Tomas Gomez on the Rochester Rhinos, one of them in the Eastern Conference. Josh Cohen of Phoenix Rising FC, another out west, as there was another free header. It looked like Forrest Lasso was free for just a moment. Another great ball sent in, but Charlotte able to deal with it, and maybe numbers the other way. Alex Martinez around the first defender, gets taken down. Just a professional foul from Charleston, but of course Alex maybe asking for a yellow there.
Yeah, Alex is going to be very frustrated. You see Charlotte looking up. He sees numbers, trying to go with pace and get things going on the counterattack, but Michael Chang has other ideas. As you said, a nice little professional foul to slow the pace up.
And does Charlotte have a case here if they're asking for a card?
Yeah, I think it's the referee's discretion. 26 minutes in. Chang's first offense. I can understand why he didn't give it to him. At the same point in time, if a referee would have given it, I could understand that as well. Again, you've got numbers and you're going against the grain, so it's difficult for the Battery to backtrack and be put up against those odds. I think each and every referee is going to treat each situation differently. I'm sure I probably would have been shown a red.
Poor you. Lasso can't get enough on his clearance. Drew Marquez Davidson again with a nice defensive play in the middle of the park. Charlotte on the move once more. Joel Johnson. Lewis Hilton joining in on the fun. Great ball through. Trying to send it across. Lasso just had to get rid of it. And it will be a corner for Charlotte. Good build up from the Jacks.
Yeah, and this is what they need to do because they kind of went through about a 4 or 5 minute spell, let the Battery get back into the game. Battery moved into the offensive third. You could see Charlotte's going to try and go quick. So much better that they turned around, weren't going to shy away from the challenge, and were able to press back into the offensive third. Again, good combination play, but just lacking that extra finesse in the final third. So we're going to knock the ball out here.
Drew Marquez Davidson took a shot there. Looked like from Eviel Cordovez. Bit of a hospital ball that was sent in. And that's why they call it a hospital ball.
And Cordovez, you can see he's like, yeah, no intent. Steps up right away to Davidson.
Again, Davidson missed a number of weeks due to a nagging hamstring injury. And of course, Mike Jeffries just wants to keep him healthy. Said he's not going to go the full 90 minutes tonight. Just trying to get him back into match fitness. Just in time for the postseason. And as it looks like right now, that postseason is going to begin on the road, most likely either at Rochester or at Charleston. Yearwood working on Griffith. Yearwood wants to get on that left foot. Griffith knows this, pushes him back. Alex Martinez trying to just bend it in, but maybe a little bit too quickly.
And that's where they're going to need more out of Alex Martinez this evening because you see him play the ball into Yearwood as he gets on that outside run, but from there he provided no assistance whatsoever, no support. Yearwood looks up, sees one person in the box, has to pull the ball back, and as he does it, he's already being closed down by one of the Battery players. So Martinez needs to realize that as soon as he plays the ball, he's got to move, get around on the outside channel, or step back into support and provide assistance.
Yearwood with a good idea to Alex Martinez, but came in a bit too hot, and now Charlotte going to commit the foul. Devin, is it fair to say that a lot of what's going on for Charlotte right now in the final third is hopeful, that ball is hopeful, that shot is hopeful, rather than being a little bit more assertive and knowing exactly what you want to do with it, as we take another look at the Lewis Hilton foul.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate representation, Tyler, especially at this point in time. It's not 1 or 2 games in where you're thinking that things are going to go the normal way and you're going to get that bounce. And Jeffrey said before to us that they were lucky in some of their earlier games where the bounces went their way and the ball jumped into the back of the net where maybe it necessarily shouldn't have. And unfortunately, they're just going through one of those spells where it just things aren't clicking down there, and you see them pushing forward and pressing. And, you know, I just can't imagine this streak progressing much longer with what I'm seeing on the pitch. They're doing well versus the Battery, and they're moving down there. It's just, again, it's just the last little disconnect between all the guys up top, and they're really hoping, and I'm sure it's going to end soon.
Justin Portillo. Nearly a half an hour played here at the Sportsplex in Matthews. Tyler Terrence along with Devin Kerr in the 30th and final week of the USL regular season. Charleston vying for that second seed, where the Charlotte Independents just trying to host a playoff game. They need a little help from Rochester and a win here tonight to do so. Rochester not giving them that help, as it is going to be offside.
You could actually hear Cody Mizell barking the orders of the back line to hold and stay, and that's very well done by Kalungi and Duckett in the middle of the field, organizing that back line as that ball's played over the top, causing Cordovas to be offside.
Well, the Rochester game is into the 75th minute, still 2-1 in favor of Rochester after the Canardo Forbes goal. Enzo Martinez in plenty of space. Now being tracked down, goes out wide for Joel Johnson. This is like the way they like to play. It goes all the way through. It's going to fall for Alex Martinez. Still Martinez. Couple of turns. Looks like it might have hit a hand. The referee says no. Charlotte immediately run to Daniel Gutierrez. And the boos raining down here at the Sportsplex in Matthews. We'll take another look.
You see Alex Martinez, 9'6", 10 turns. I mean, I'm not really sure how the referee doesn't blow the whistle there. And that's got to be very, very frustrating for the Independents and their fans. But again, go back to that. We talked about that finesse and the decision-making in the final third. Why didn't Alex Martinez release that ball 5 touches sooner? He brought the ball down, did a great job, got in one-on-one, took a touch inside, took a touch outside, outside, cut it back, turned it around. So again, definitely should have gone to the spot there, but need to be much better from Alex Martinez.
Well, you just mentioned the ball not always bouncing your way, and sometimes the call's not going your way, and that's another brief instance of what's been going wrong for Charlotte amongst this stretch. Good movement again, Enzo Martinez, just a bit too heavy of a first touch. But Charlotte are buzzing, and they smell blood in the water. It's just a matter if they can put it over the line. There's a brutal shove in the back from Justin Portillo. Enzo Martinez asking for a card, and he might just get one. We'll take another look.
Yeah, Portillo deciding to take things into his own hands about 30 yards from goal, and that's just an unnecessary foul from that young man. There's no reason to give up possession to his squad, but Charlotte going to look to capitalize. See Joel Johnson standing over the ball, and Lewis Hilton possibly service something in. They're going to change up who's going to stand over the service, as they haven't had anything good as of late. You got to hope Charlotte can get the big boys from the back involved.
Little design set piece. Enzo Martinez, and it's blocked right in front. And spectacularly done so. Looked like it was Forrest Lasso. Great defensive play, bailing Odinzo Cooper out. Kalungi. Davidson. Bad giveaway there from Duckett. Charleston looking to take advantage on the other end. Kalungi wins it back for the Jacks. Herrera
Good defending by Kalungi.
Now it looks like Charleston the one who's pushing up, and Charlotte having a tough time keeping hold of the ball. Griffith and Hilton meet in the middle of the park. Portillo just trying to bring it down.
I think Charlotte dealing with all the frustrations as of late. The last thing they want to do is to see the possession battle over to the Battery. That will cause an immense amount of frustration to kind of boil over. You wouldn't want it to topple this team coming down the stretch.
Check out @USL Soccer on Instagram to see match highlights and action shots from games around the USL.
Foul against Austin Yearwood. Michael Chang tripped up there. It's been a physical start to this match, not nearly as physical as the Louisville match for Charlotte a week ago, which Mike Jeffries said it definitely had a playoff sort of feel to it.
Yeah, and except for the one foul that we saw with Portillo stepping up, the shove in the back of Martinez, I think it's been a calculated physicality where players are really going for the 50-50 balls, the one-on-one challenges. Not a lot of nastiness on the pitch, but like you said, physical nonetheless.
Michael Chang, Portillo trying to return for Cordovez. Cordovez over Mizell, it's off the post, and it sneaks in. Javier Cordovez continues his spectacular form. And the Charleston Battery take one huge step towards possibly locking up the #2 seed, 1-0 here at the Sportsplex at Matthews.
When you talked about the Battery starting to move up the pitch a little bit and Charlotte getting frustrated, Charleston Battery just got hooked up to a supercharger on that one. Wow, you can see the excellent ball movement coming from the right side of the pitch, knocked into the middle of the park, and again, that 1-2-3 triangle moved into Cordovez, who just flicks it right over.
I apologize, folks. That was actually Attila Guerra with the finish. It has been Cordovez, and we sort of just expected it was going to be him who was on the end of it. Great little build-up from Charleston. And Attila Guerra with the finish here in the 36th. And it goes from bad to worse for the Charlotte Independents.
They had a rough time seeing that jersey number there, folks. My apologies. But nonetheless, how impressive was that? Solid combination. I mean, the triangle offense, we talked about it before, and the guys moving 1-2-3 up top. Thought the Charlotte were going to isolate the right side of the pitch, and the Battery able to do so, putting the Independents on their heels.
Charleston looking for an answer. Herrera denied by Cooper. And that goal from Guerra might have lit a fire underneath the Charlotte Independents. Jorge Herrera, probably if he puts it anywhere else, it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, again, just such close proximity to the net and couldn't put away. But credit to Disnell Cooper with another solid save as Enzo Martinez shows him how he feels about that. But again, good job from the Independents. They're going down, coming right back, moving up the field. And you're going to see your goal scorer, Attila Guerra. And our head referee, Daniel Gutierrez, just reminding him that stay on your P's and Q's.
Charlotte looking for an answer before the half. Attila Guerra with his 6th goal of the season. Tied for 3rd in that department for Charleston. Good defensive play there. And Charleston looking to come out the other way. Justin Portillo with some neat footwork. Jorge Herrera, what looked like was probably going to be a foul. The referee says play on, or maybe just no call altogether. Cooper, not his best clearance. And it is going to be a Charlotte throw-in.
We got one of the Battery players going to ground. Head referee Gutierrez going over to check on Justin Portillo. Maybe a little bit of solitude revenge from earlier.
Enzo Martinez. Drew Marquez Davidson finding Alex Martinez. Herrera not able to hang on to it. Plenty of bodies hit the deck. Referee says play on. But that's a great defensive play from June Marquez Davidson as Charleston had numbers the other way. Mike Jeffries looking on, and his team finding themselves in another 1-0 hole. As they continually let the opposition strike first, and then consistently over the past month and a half find themselves in games where they have to claw their way back into it. They're able to get an equalizer by way of Caleb Calvert at Louisville last week. But it was Louisville who answered right back with a goal of their own.
Well, it's crazy to think that you go through those spells of not being able to bury anything, and just an absolute fantastic ball then played by Siage to the back post. Caleb Calvert took it down off his chest and hit it one time to the far post. It was a great goal. And you go from that to this.
Chang. And as it stands right now, Charleston will be the 2 seed in the 2017 USL playoffs as Enzo Martinez gets dispossessed with a crunching tackle.
We'd like to thank our starting 11 sponsors for their support of the Charlotte Independents. Novant Health, Adidas, Toshiba Business Solutions, and Coca-Cola. Do you have a business or organization you'd like to promote through the Independents? Give our front office a call or seek more information at charlotteindependents.com.
A little bit of a dry spell here, Devin, as both teams maybe just trying to get into the locker room and make some tactical adjustments, as Charlotte have clearly slowed down. A sense of urgency has sort of left them after the Guerra goal, and Charleston very happy with the result at the moment. They'll be glad to just hang on.
I think Charlotte's being extremely frustrated for sure, almost like they put in solitary confinement after all their performances and inability to close out games, score goals, anything whatsoever. And if I'm Mike Jeffries, I have got to be bewildered, bedazzled, and confused.
Great ball through. Enzo Martinez trying to get there. He's taken down right outside of the box by Quentin Griffith, and that has to be a card, and it will be, as Quentin Griffith showed mustard here in the 42nd minute, and a great chance for many of the Charlotte tacticians to be able to try and put it in the back of the net for the free kick.
And just as we say it, Charlotte Independence going through a dry spell, starting to push numbers and go at pace again, find a nice little spark, moving up through the middle of the pitch. Lewis Hilton with a great ball on the backside, and wow, Enzo Martinez takes a nasty shot to the head here.
And it wasn't the original shot, it was more so of the whiplash from what his head hit the ground here at the Sportsplex in Matthews. I'm not exactly sure what Quentin Griffith is complaining about, is just can't use your arms when you're going into a challenge like that.
Yeah, Griffith just caught him on the initial forefront, actually had the following left hand coming back, caught him again in the throat, and then like you said, his head almost bounced off the pitch. And they immediately raved for the physio to come out and give him a little look-see, and you know, there's a good shot, especially in this day and age with the head injuries we've all heard about and dealt with, and Enzo Martinez giving the thumbs up that he's good to go.
Well, he'll have to leave the field for just a brief moment, and he'll be allowed to come back on as soon as he's cleared by the medical staff. But a great chance here, and you have to imagine it's going to be Jorge Herrera, as he scored a couple of goals from this distance throughout the course of the 2017 season, but his last goal came on July 29th.
And again, someone's going to have to break the deadlock at one point in time. They have been a little bit tricky as of late, so you see Joel Johnson sitting up top, could lay one off to let him hit it. Otherwise, yeah, look for Herrera to go to the near post here.
Herrera with a great attempt, but a diving save from Cooper. And Herrera continues his dry spell of not being able to find the back of the net. Cooper this time denying the Colombian.
Right, and Jorge Herrera pulled a little oopsie-do and went far post instead. Odisno Cooper, wow, an absolutely fantastic save. You're playing mind games with the keeper when you're up there, and that's an extremely well-struck ball and an even better save by Odisno Cooper.
USL all season long by visiting the new USLsoccer.com for everything you need to know about
Charlotte continue to knock on the door.
30 teams.
The question still remains, when is Jorge Herrera going to break this streak? Approaching 3 months without a goal. Joel Johnson. Time for some delivery, sends it all the way across, but Lasso is there. Getting word now that we'll have 2 minutes of stoppage added on to the 45 minutes here at the Sportsplex in Matthews. Atulagara's goal at the moment, his 6th of the season. The difference maker, Herrera trying to go over the top for Estrada. It's not a bad idea, but defended extremely well by Charleston. Kalungi trying to fend off Cordovez. Does a nice job, and will win a throw-in.
You got to give credit. Unfortunately, the Independence being down 1-0, but you got to give credit to Henry Kalungi. He's done a great job of shutting down Cordovez in this first half. The center back constantly drifting to the left side of the pitch, helping out Austin Yearwood, playing those 1v1 battles.
2 minutes of stoppage time. 2 minutes.
There's the 2 minutes being shown by the 4th official. Charlotte still with some time before the half. Joel Johnson sent through once more all the way across. And it was Forrest Lasso who got there first. Looked for a moment that it might find the back of the net, but Charlotte with a chance from the corner. Forrest Lasso trying to rally the troops for another defensive task here coming up.
Yeah, the Charleston Battery very lucky that they didn't knock that into the back of their own net. Joel Johnson proving once again his case for the Defender of the Year, getting up the pitch on the offensive side of the ball, playing a great ball across.
Comes the corner from Lewis Hilton. It will be an outswinger. Doesn't get past the first defender once more, who was Michael Chang. Johnson back out for Hilton. Trying to whip it back in. Higashi cuts it out this time. Charleston would be extremely happy to just see this one out towards halftime. Quentin Griffith. Portillo trying the return, but a little bit too much on it. And it will be a goal kick, probably the last chance we'll see of the half if Charlotte can't scurry up the field quickly enough. Joel Johnson certainly in the mood to do so. Enzo Martinez still with the ball. Trying to find Herrera, collision at the top of the box, and it's going to go the other way.
You can see Herrera and Taylor Mueller. Then a nice little game of two-hand touch.
And that's going to do it for the first half here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Atulagara's goal right around the 35-minute mark is the difference between these two Southern Derby rivals. And as it stands, it'll be Charleston as the number 2 seed, and Charlotte will have to travel. Devin Kerr, your thoughts on the first half?
I think the Battery have made it very well known that they're going to come into a hostile environment, sit back, try and maintain the push by Charlotte, and go with their chances when they get the chance. On the other side of the ball, the Independents need to do much better in the final third, need a little bit more creativity and ingenuity. They're not going to break the back line down to the Charleston Battery if they continue along these lines.
Well, certainly all smiles for Mike Anhauser right now as they're trying to lock up the number 2 seed. Charlotte still struggling to find the back of the net. We'll be back with the halftime show in just a few moments.
Hi, Kathy Mitchell with my new Red Copper 5-Minute Chef. You're gonna love the way this kitchen wonder makes delicious home-cooked food in a flash. Try this. Place in sausage, peppers, egg, and cheese. Then close the lid. No folding, no flipping, and in just 4 minutes, a delicious light and fluffy omelet. Designed with 2 deep wells, 5-minute chef cooks from the top and bottom. So my homemade corn dogs are done fast and easy. And no sticking. Everything comes right out. Call now and get my Red Copper 5-minute chef with spatula for just $39.99. And I'll ship it all for free. Plus get my recipe book free. But wait, you can double the offer and receive a second set. Plus our Flipwitch sandwich maker. Just pay a separate fee. It lets you flip delicious hot sandwiches in just minutes. An incredible value. Call now.
Call 1-800-390-8106 or visit by5minutechef.com. So call 1-800-390-8106. Order now.
Your pet leaves fur wherever he goes, and it's impossible to clean when it gets on your clothes. Not anymore! Introducing the Hurricane Fur Wizard, an all-new extra-large lint brush that picks up fur and lint with ease, then cleans up instantly with a self-cleaning base. Fur Wizard is faster because of the double-sided action. It cleans up twice as much in half the time of other lint brushes. Plus, with just one dip, both sides are cleaned up quick, and just remove the base clip to empty. Look, a tape roller needs so many sheets, while just a few swipes of Fur Wizard easily cleans the entire surface. No refills are ever needed. Use it over and over again. Get your Hurricane Fur Wizard for just $19.99. But wait, call now and you'll also get the Fur Wizard Mini absolutely free. Perfect for quick on-the-go cleanups. It has a self-cleaning base too. But wait, call now and you can get a second complete Fur Wizard set. Just pay separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-261-4030 to get your Fur Wizard. Call or visit byfurwizard.com. So call 1-800-261-4030. Order now.
Halftime here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. The Charleston Battery with a 1-0 lead over their southern rivals. The Charlotte Independence at Tullaguerra with the goal on a beautiful assist from Justin Portillo. And we are going to take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. And there weren't all that many, Devin. Originally, it was Charlotte who looked like they were going to break through in the first 20 minutes or so.
And they jumped right out of the starting blocks, and they were extremely impressive. Again, holding good possession, but as they went forward, it wasn't the methodicalness that we normally see. They went with pace and composure, but again, not able to break down the back line of the Battery.
Cody Mizell would have to come off of his line a couple of times throughout the first half, and Charlotte would continue to knock on the door, and this was a great chance for Alex Martinez. It probably should have been called a handball.
Yeah, I mean, definitely should have been called a handball. Referee should have pointed to the spot for sure, but Alex Martinez needs to take acceptance of his own behavior here because although, yes, that 100% should have been a penalty, he took about 15 or 20 too many touches in the middle of the box. He could have taken 1 or 2, put it on target, put it in the back of the net.
And then this was a great little 1-2 action from Portillo to Tullaguerra, who finishes it off. I apologize for the initial call, folks, as we thought it was Eviel Cordovez, but it turns out to be a Tullaguerra, his 6th of the season. But how about the pass, as it looked like it was Justin Portillo.
Yeah, it started off with Chang, then came into Portillo. Portillo, great ball over the back, and like you said, Tullaguerra just sliding in behind that back line. You know, Kalungi and Duckett had done so well throughout the entire first half, but not able to track back with Guerra, and Guerra just tucks it in on the near post.
Charlotte would continue to knock on the door. This is just moments after the goal. Jorge Herrera denied by Cooper.
And you got to give credit to the Independents because this was literally about 15 or 20 seconds after the goal. So credit to them to keeping their heads up and picking up the team morale, moving down the pitch, continuing with the offensive prowess, but just not able to tuck anything away. And again, heading into half at 0-0, extremely frustrated, but they did not stop, kept pushing and pushing.
And then Enzo Martinez taken down by Quentin Griffith. He would end up going into the book. It would be a great free kick opportunity for Jorge Herrera, and another look at the foul.
Yeah, and the Independents going forward, moving numbers. Enzo Martinez taking a nasty shot to the throat, gets bounced off, and Jorge Herrera trying to pick out the back post again. Excellent save by Cooper to keep his team up 1-0.
And now a look at the stats from the first half, and as you can see, Charlotte Independence, same story, different day. Dominating possession, shots on target, as well as a number of shots that didn't hit the target, but nothing finding the back of the net.
Well, and I'd love to have a conversation with Mike Jeffries right now because I think the man's brilliant. I think he's done an amazing job with the Independent squad, but he told us about different things they were going to do on the pitch, namely 3. I've seen 1. I've seen the high press on the defensive side of the ball. Going forward, it's the same Independence. Everybody's read Moby Dick. Everybody knows it's a great book, and we all know Ahab's going to slay the great whale. Let's switch it up. Let's figure out a different way to get the job done. Bring in a couple supporting actors, but whatever you do, you got to do something different because everybody knows what you're going to do it and when you're going to do it and the manner it's going to happen in.
Well, the White Whale is currently a home playoff game for the Charlotte Independents, and it continues to elude them. 1-0 at the half here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Charleston in front thanks to Atula Guerra. We'll be back in just a few moments.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund breeding.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
At halftime, welcome to our USL studios. Storylines abound in the USL as the season nears its conclusion. Record-setting attendance, just one of the many focal points that we could talk about. It's what we do talk about here. With Morgan Conklin, Mike Watts, big milestones over the weekend. At Rio Tinto Stadium, over 8,000 witnessed as the regular season championship trophy was hoisted by the Monarchs. It's just part of a larger milestone weekend for the league.
And the big story of the league is the USL crossed the 2 million in total attendance mark and became the first North American Division II league to do so.
But it's not the league that does it. It's individual teams with their fantastic fan bases, new homes. They're setting records too.
And that's led by FC Cincinnati with almost 340,000 fans at Nippert Stadium during their home games this season. Also, Sacramento Republic FC averaged a sellout crowd each home game at Papa Murphy's Park this year. Ottawa Fury FC also saw 6 figures in their season attendance.
In total, it's 2 million through the turnstiles. It's a giant increase league-wide.
An increase of 33% so far, and there's still 1 week to play.
So the story is about expansion teams rising, teams falling, playoff hopes, some dashed, some just now beginning to find its legs. We're enjoying all the fans that have made it out so far, many more to come. For Morgan Conklin, Mike Watts for the USL Network, enjoy the second half.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Still the big intermission here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Charleston with a 1-0 lead over the Charlotte Independents, and as it stands, will be the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference for the postseason. And we do have a final from the Capelli Sports Stadium. Rochester finishes off New York Red Bulls 2 with a 2-1 win. Bernardo Forbes with the goal. And Charlotte now need a 3-goal or more victory here at home against the Charleston Battery to host a playoff game. If not, they'll be on the road at Rochester. We're moving right through halftime. We'll be back in just a few moments. Still 1-0 Charleston at the half.
Stringing Christmas lights takes forever. Now there's Star Shower Slideshow, the brightest way to decorate your home for the holidays. Dazzle with dozens of dancing designs. With easy slide technology, just pick a slide, insert, and play. It's a virtual explosion of exciting lights and colors. Choose the speed, slow, fast, or freeze. With water-resistant casing and extra long stake, it stays in the ground all year long. There's an indoor base for the best Christmas celebrations. Get Star Shower Slideshow with stake, indoor base, and 6 Christmas slides for just $39.99. Call within 10 minutes and get the 6 slides celebration package free. Enjoy birthday balloons, Valentine's Day hearts, fireworks, fun, colorful Easter bunnies, and 2 Halloween slides for the spookiest house. You get 6 Christmas slides, the 6 slide celebration package, the extra long stake, indoor base, and a lifetime money-back guarantee. Call now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. So order now.
Call 1-800-477-8033 to get your Star Shower Slideshow. Call or visit by slideshow.com. So call 1-800-477-8033. Order now.
Do you suffer from blackheads, dirty pores, or oily skin? You've even tried squeezing them out and nothing works until now. Introducing Black Off, the newest, hottest at-home way to remove blackheads, cleanse pores, and absorb excess oil. Just apply a thick layer of Black Off to your face and let it dry. Then peel it away to reveal your deepest clean skin.
It pulled all of the blackheads out, and you can see like the circles where everything was tugged outward.
Put your freshest face forward and never worry about blackheads again with Black Off. The proof is in the peel. Call or go online now to get your Black Off for just $19.99. Order now and we'll double the size of the tube absolutely free. As a bonus, we'll send you our Black Off skin cleanser, also absolutely free. But call or click now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. Get the ugly stuff off with Black Off. The proof is in the peel. Order now.
Call 1-800-260-5583 to get your Black Off. Call or visit by blackoff.com. So call 1-800-260-5583. That's 1-800-260-5583. Call now.
45 minutes in the book here at the Sportsplex at Matthews, and the Charleston Battery right now with a 1-0 lead over Charlotte. All smiles on the more southern part of the Southern Derby rivalry. And now we'll take a look at some of the award nominees for this year. Obviously, Coach of the Year, Mark Briggs, is an obvious candidate as he has done a superb job with the Real Monarchs, 2017 USL regular season champs.
Yeah, definitely dominating the Western Conference from start to finish for the most part, as we get a shot at our Charlotte Independent skipper, Mike Jeffries, throwing his name into the mix as well.
Absolutely. Obviously, Charlotte have struggled as of late, but he put together a legendary stretch in the middle of the season. James O'Connor, another obvious candidate. Louisville City, Eastern Conference regular season champions. They'll be hosting throughout in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Ian Russell in Reno, in my opinion, this is a guy who certainly deserves it as well.
Yeah, 100%. And to watch that team going forward, they are just an offensive battering ram of ridiculousness, especially in the closing stretch.
And then how about David Vaudreuil from Tulsa, a team that was at the bottom of the table, the bottom of the league a season ago, now in the postseason. Quite the turnaround in Tulsa.
Well, not just in the postseason, they're in the 6th spot. So, I mean, extremely impressive by all of them. I think it's great resumes, but yeah, Vaudreuil, I mean, he's worked his way up, and definitely my vote.
And one man who has helped them on the pitch and not from the touchline is Juan Pablo Capa. He's a finalist for the MVP award. Chandler Hoffman in the race for the Golden Boot. Probably won't get it, but he's been integral to the Real Monarchs' success.
Yeah, I think Chandler Hoffman may end up, like you said, not taking the Golden Boot. I think it's going to end up with that gentleman right there, Dane Kelly, as he's been so hot as of late with Reno 1868. But I think Hoffman definitely probably has my vote for the MVP race.
And then, of course, Enzo Martinez, who's featured in this game at the moment. He's a guy who could really get it done in terms of scoring, assists, as well as the defensive side of the ball. But it's just a side who has really not put it together towards the end of the season. And then, of course, Marcel Schaefer and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, not so much on the road, but at home, they've been juggernauts.
Yeah, he just waxes poetic in the midfield each and every game, and it's brilliant to watch his European experience come over to the States.
Of course, he's had caps with the German national team, and he brings just a ton of talent to the United Soccer League. And there's been a lot of talent on this field so far tonight, but right now it's Charleston with the 1-0 lead over Charlotte. And we'll take a look at the top 5 most valuable players who are obviously nominees. And as you can see here, Dane Kelly leading the Golden Boot race. Enzo Martinez and Chandler Hoffman tied at the moment. Enzo Martinez with 5 assists, Chandler Hoffman with 7, and that's actually the tiebreaker for the Golden Boot race. So if either Enzo Martinez or Chandler Hoffman are able to get 2 goals over the weekend, you know, it's a big possibility that they could tie them, and then either one of them would win on assists.
And again, and that's why they're up there for the MVP discussion as well. And it's fun to have these tight-knit races coming down the final few games as Could see Mike Jeffries having a few words there on the sideline before his troops go back out for battle in the second half.
And Mike Anhauser choosing the route of solidarity, as he's just going to sit by himself and continue to ponder the task at hand, which is trying to put away the Charlotte Independence side. And if you're Mike Anhauser, you probably just want to keep doing what you've been doing, limiting Charlotte's opportunities, getting forward when you can. But if you're Charlotte, how do you break out of this funk?
Well, I think first and foremost, to be fair to the Battery, I don't think they can play the game they played in the first half, because I think they actually gave the Independents too much opportunity and too much space, which eventually that's going to boil over. Is it going to happen in 45 minutes? We're not really sure. We're hoping so for the Independents, but I think with the Independents, what they need to do offensively is be more direct. When they were more direct in the first half, when you got the likes of Joel Johnson going forward and quick and Enzo Martinez supporting them, they looked dangerous and they had a boatload of options. But when they played possession and tried to move the ball all the way up the field, though they need to do it in the middle of the field, when they get into the final third, they need to go much faster, because it was definitely confusing to the back line of the Charleston Battery.
Tucker with the defensive header. You can see the defensive pressure from Charlotte, but Charleston is dealing with it extremely well at the moment. Guerra comes back out wide. Higashi. He's going to bend it in. It's not a bad ball, hoping for Cordovez. But Charlotte give it right back. Alex Martinez guilty on that occasion. Quentin Griffith shedding off the Uruguayan for the moment. Great little back heel, but the ball went over the line. It seems like Charleston have come out with a bit more purpose in the second half.
Speaking of direct, the Battery getting it together and coming out quick, coming out strong. Definitely much more relaxed in their first half efforts, though maintaining the 1-0 lead.
And if you took a break during the second half, or maybe just grabbed a snack or took your dog for a walk, we did mention before that the Rochester Rhinos did complete their victory over the New York Red Bulls too. So the only way that Charlotte have a possibility to host a home playoff game is to get a win here tonight by 3 or more goals. So that would look like a 4-1 result in favor of Charlotte, a 5-2, 6-3. You get where we're going with this, but they just need to get that first goal.
Did you do that math all on your own?
No, I got a calculator over here. You can't see it.
Extremely impressive. Yeah, and I think with Jeffries, these guys have to be careful, because it's frustrating enough to be in the situation that they're in. You would just like to see them get a solid performance. Again, I think once they start putting balls in the back of the net, and I referenced the phrase before, but I think the floodgates are going to open, and you'll see 1, 2, 3 start to funnel out and give them more confidence going forward. But right now, try and pull out a tie. Definitely, obviously, push for the victory if possible. But again, what you don't want to do is give that 5th and decisive loss going into the into the road stand for the playoffs.
Well, as it stands right now, Charlotte would be traveling to Rochester. If Charlotte's able to get a tie, it would be Charlotte and Charleston in the first round of the playoffs, as both Tampa Bay and Rochester would have more points. Lewis Hilton trying to get on the end of it, but Forrest Lasso just going to bully Hilton off of the ball. And Lewis Hilton going over to maybe just calm down Forrest Lasso, but Lasso doesn't want any of it.
Yeah, Lasso got that huge frame. That 6'5" presence he and I share one thing in common, at least our height. I'm obviously the better looking of the two, but there was no reason, to be fair, for Lewis Hilton to step into that situation and kind of put his hands on Lasso. But going back to we're actually going to get another look here, and Lasso steps over, does a good job, uses that big body and just steps away, and he tells him to get up and has a few words. But again, Lewis Hilton, just get back to the task at hand, continue on, and going back to the Independents and their road ventures that they may or may not have to take on. Again, we've still got a lot of the second half left to go. If they have to go on the road, their road record this year, 6-6-4. 500, okay. Their series with the Battery, they're 2-5-2, and their only 2 victories have come in home. So you've basically gone there 7 times, and never once have you come out with 3 points. So either way, whether you got to go to Capelli Sport or you're going to go visit the Battery, it's going to be a tough task at hand. But again, we've got another 40 minutes. See my math there? That was positive. Another 40 minutes for the Independents to get back on the board. And again, get back to basics, be more direct, and just try and put something away.
And I think the big thing that you mentioned there, Devin, is just getting a solid performance, whether or not it's a win by 3 goals or whether it's a tie, but just grinding out a result in a playoff-type atmosphere is really the most important thing for this side, as they've just sort of been trying to put this past month and a half, 2 months in the rear view and move forward, because at the end of the day, once the playoff starts, all bets are off and it's a completely new season. Yeah,
you start from a new slate, and basically you just got to put it in succession of 1, 2, 3, 4, in order to push for that championship. But like you said, Tyler, going back a month to a month and a half ago, we would be in utter disbelief. Number one, if we talked about the fact that Charlotte wasn't going to have a home game or even finishing in the top 4, we're looking like that may happen. And number two, can you even imagine them losing this game and then going on the road and going out in the first round with all the talent and the success they've had this year? No, you can't. So like you said, just look for a positive victory in the second half and try and push yourself forward. Gain a point, gain 3 points, but whatever you do, gain something, don't backtrack.
Been 4 losses in a row for the Charlotte Independents, a franchise record, and they're looking to snap that unwanted streak here tonight at the Sportsplex in Matthews, but their foe on the other side of the field, certainly a formidable one. And FC Cincinnati right now in a dogfight with Toronto FC2, and a lot of people will say in United Soccer League that that's one of the toughest places to go play. Toronto FC2 sitting at the bottom of the Eastern Conference table, but they just have a way of giving teams a fit at their home field at BMO. And now, obviously, FC Cincinnati, who got to the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup, are looking at possibly 8th place in the playoffs.
And that's another crazy stat to think of, especially in the closing games. I mean, at one point in time, they were as high as 4th, pushing numbers, doing well, and then they've been on a slippery little slope as of late, kind of trickling down the ranks. Again, great to have them in the playoffs, which is going to be awesome, but you got to wonder what they're doing in a negative manner, because their form has gone backwards since their U.S. Open Cup run for sure.
Well, how great of a matchup would that be in the first round, Louisville and FC Cincinnati? I mean, the atmosphere at Slugger Field alone is going to be incredible.
Oh, that could turn into a track meet real quick.
Enzo Martinez being bothered from behind. Loose ball in the box. Alex Martinez had his back turned, and then Chang will just clear it away. Hoping for Cordovez to just hold it up, and he does extremely well in doing so. And it looks like we do have a substitute coming on for Charlotte, and it's the super sub himself, Caleb Calvert, who's responsible for the equalizer against Louisville last week. A superb goal at that. He's going to replace David Estrada, so maybe a little bit of an experiment of sorts for Mike Jeffries heading into the second half. Experiment failed, and on comes Calvert.
Yeah, and we said to Mike Jeffries last week when Calvert came in, was that something you talked about at halftime, or was it a calculated? He said, no. We came out in the second half. We were going to give things a go, and I think you're probably seeing the exact same conversation last week funnel into this week, giving Caleb Calvert the goal. And as you mentioned, Tyler, what a fantastic finish he had last week. That solid ball we brought up earlier from Jaime Siage. Nice little floating ball to the back post. Calvert took it down like a seasoned vet right off his chest and buried it upper 90 into the back post. Unfortunately, the Independents coming out 2-1 on that one as well.
Well, Calvert, just 20 years old, he was supposed to be a big signing for this Independents club, and he got an injury as soon as he was signed. He was one of the youngest ever homegrown players to be signed by Chivas when they were in existence, and there was a lot of hype around Calvert, and he just hasn't been able to stay healthy, and now they're hoping that he's going to be able to contribute in a big way heading towards the playoffs.
And he's another one who's got such a big frame up top, and what a huge presence.
Ball sent into him. Calvert, plenty of space, laying it off for Martinez. Great idea, but it hits the backside of Lasso. Getting forward is Hilton. He's able to keep it in Charleston's end. Penetrating ball. Calvert getting on the end of it. He's got numbers with him. Goes out wide for Yearwood. Flag stays down. Alex Martinez. Enzo taken down right at the edge of the box, and it'll be another free kick opportunity for Charlotte. And Alex Martinez running to his brother's defense. And that's the second time that Justin Portillo has been caught giving Enzo Martinez more than a friendly shove.
And Justin Portillo, you see, just loses that 50-50 battle at the top of the box. Enzo Martinez tracking back as there was a tricky little ball played in by Alex Martinez. You saw him, you think that ball's going to come across the pitch. No, he just plays it to the top, and Portillo comes across. Enzo Martinez extremely smart with his body movement as he comes across to try and win that ball, and Portillo just followed through with studs up and took him out.
I don't think that's exactly what Portillo was trying to do in terms of taking him out. It just looked bad because the ball got away, and it was just Enzo Martinez's ankle that he got.
It's a continuation of Portillo's run. He goes to ground to try and win the through ball. Smart on his part. Any defender would. Credit to Martinez, who steps over and steps in front of the play. And again, I think Portillo's on the unfortunate end of it, but the referee can't not blow the whistle there. That's an extremely difficult foul not to give away, especially because he didn't touch any of the ball.
Herrera on top of it again, forced a great save out of Cooper last time. Right on the edge of the box, about 20 yards out. A great ball in, and it's off the bar this time. What does the Columbia need to do to get one? It'll be a corner coming up for Charlotte.
Yeah, Jorge Herrera giving thanks to the heavens as he pings another one, as you said, Tyler, to the back post. Let's see if Odisno Cooper gets a finger on it. Oh, he gets the slightest little touch to keep it out of the net. Knocks it off the woodwork. What a great save by Cooper again. But like you said, Herrera, what does he got to do to buy a goal?
Turns out it's going to be a free kick going the other way for Charleston, which is why you heard some of the displeasure from the crowd here at the Sportsplex in Matthews. And if you're joining us on Sirius XM, Odisno Cooper just getting the slightest of touches to force it off of the woodwork, and that's the difference between Jorge Herrera breaking his 2-month goal streak and not. Charleston on the other end, leaving it for Guerra, but his shot over the bar. And a goal kick for Cody Mizell, and you can see just a sense of urgency from the Colorado Rapids loanee that he wants to get on with it. As his team continue to struggle to find the back of the net. Another look at the Guerra opportunity.
Yeah, we talked about the independents, those talented outside backs. When Yearwood and Johnson decide to go and they go high, they do expose that back line, which is what you just saw there. Saw the boys just pushing a little bit high and the Battery trying to take advantage, not able to do so. As Guerrero just knocked it over the bars with a nice little step over.
Bad pass there from Duckett. It's cut out by Charleston in the middle of the park. Long ball sent forward, and Mizell's able to claim it. Hilton coming out wide for Joel Johnson on the near right-hand side. Johnson, early delivery. Lasso's there with the defensive header, and he continues to be the man who's just disrupting everything in the final third for Charlotte. Foot race the other way. Kalungi and Cordovez getting tangled up. Cordovez with a couple of great moves, falls down. No call to be a handball the other way as Cordovez fell on the ground. And some sarcastic cheers here at Sportsplex at Matthews.
Yeah, I think Kalungi's going to be very fortunate that the referee didn't blow the whistle for him on that one.
Alex Martinez trying to find his brother Enzo on the other end. Second ball falls to Austin Yearwood right around midfield, but he gives it away. Enzo Martinez frustrated. Higashi getting Guerra involved. Go all the way back for Forrest Lasso. Now it looks like Charleston, the ones who's extremely stretched and throwing numbers forward.
You're very crafty on the ball. Some solid possession here for the Battery.
Van Schaik with a ball in that is essentially to nobody in his own team's color, which is white tonight. Charlotte rocking the all blue kits.
And the back line of the Independents are very lucky because that was a really nice ball played in behind the Independents. Unfortunately, Cordova is not on the same page as Jared Van Schaik, their left back.
Enzo Martinez just trying to squeeze his way through. Charleston ended up winning it. Guerra over the top for Cordovez. Kalungi with a defensive header. Davidson a little 1-2 for Yearwood, but maybe too tight of quarters over there on the far right side. Charlotte looking to operate the other way quickly. Jorge Herrera in plenty of space, looking for the ball over the top for Calvert. Oh, and it's tipped over the bar by Cooper. Odisno Cooper standing on his head here in the final week of the USL regular season.
Disno Cooper breathing a sigh of relief. You see Herrera picks him out on the far post. Caleb Calvert, what an excellent header, and Cooper just
didn't even end up getting a touch on it.
Didn't get a touch on it, right off the crossbar again. I mean, that's definitely got to be the 12th man of the match for the Charleston Battery tonight, as it has come into play 3 times here this evening, as Cooper might have picked up a thigh injury as he stretched out trying to make that save.
Look, for all in the world that Cooper had gotten a touch to that. It was just sort of a strange trajectory of the ball, as it looked like it was going to go in initially, and it just ended up rocking off the crossbar. But how about this guy coming off the bench in 2 consecutive games and making an immediate impact and making his presence felt?
Last game came out in the 65th minute. Absolutely impressive performance going forward. Again, we referenced the amazing goal that he got off the ball from Siage, and like you said, Tyler, coming in 5 minutes into his shift, making the presence felt for sure, and they're already warming up their backup goalkeeper, Kuzminski. You gotta wonder what exactly went on when Cooper made the stretch for that save.
Kuzminski hasn't even made an appearance yet this season. Alex Tambakis is usually the backup for Odisno Cooper, and even Tambakis has only made 8 appearances, so Joe Kuzminski, if Cooper's unable to go, would make his first appearance of the season.
I'll tell you what, tracking back to the Caleb Calvert conversation, we talked about different things that Charlotte may or may not do, and I think Mike Jeffries has recognized a weakness in this back line of the Battery that he needs to try and isolate even more and continue to push those big balls into Calvert, because he's proved that he can get in behind and be a formidable force going forward. So credit to the Independents for recognizing that, and hopefully they can continue to do so.
Well, looks like Jorge Herrera has moved out into a more of a winger position on the near side. Maybe that's another area that Charlotte needs to work on in the offseason, is maybe just getting bigger bodies up front. There's a lot of small statures that Mike Jeffries features up top with the Martinez brothers, Jorge Herrera. Not a lot of physical strength to be able to hold up the ball on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think they also, talking about at the beginning of the broadcast, I made the reference to the Battery of how they were kind of a chameleon-like team. They could go forward with pace. They could maintain possession. Obviously very, very impressive on set pieces, and Odisno Cooper proving that he's a phenomenal goalkeeper as well. But, the Charlotte going forward, they're kind of the same thing day in and day out. We talked about that, and showing the height and the balls played into the back, maybe opening up their game a little bit more, adding a dimension to confuse teams in the final third.
Comes out wide for Johnson once more. Charlotte continuing to knock on the door and ask all sorts of questions of the Charleston back line, but they have had the answers thus far. Great interplay. Back for Herrera. Herrera around the keeper, but it's offside. Enzo Martinez is furious, chirping at the assistant referee, but he had his flag up. Nevertheless, fantastic interplay from Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, wow. 5, 6, 7 passes in behind the back, and it was hard to tell from that angle whether or not he was off. Looked like he might have had a step or two, Herrera, in behind that back line. We're going to get another look at it here. As you can see, Martinez brothers going 1, 2, 3, and it just looks like as he spins, is he kept on or off? Wow, that is really, really close again. Hard to tell from that angle, and unfortunately going to keep the Independents off the board once again.
Well, the question is obviously he was on the wrong side of Lasso, but it was Quentin Griffith on the far side who may have been keeping him on. But meanwhile, on the other side, Charlotte committing a foul about 5 or 6 yards behind the 18.
You can see Drew Marquez Davidson trying to help out Cordovez. Bilal Duckett having a few words as well with our head referee.
Well, now Charlotte have to organize defensively to deal with the free kick, and we're getting word now that Romario Williams, the Jamaican international, is getting ready to come on, and he'll replace Eviel Cordovez. Must be nice for Mike Anhauser to be able to take off Cordovez, who's been in world-class form, and bring on an international striker in the form of Romario Williams.
And nice for the Battery, and an absolute nightmare for the Charlotte Independents having to deal with the likes of Romario Williams, the Jamaican international, coming onto the pitch. It's always so frustrating as a center back. You put in 64 minutes of a hard shift and you've got fresh legs coming on.
So it's about a 25-yard look for Justin Portillo standing over it with the likes of Michael Chang. 4-man wall for Charlotte, just off center to the right. Portillo goes for goal, but always over the bar. And a free kick for Mizell.
Yeah, poor effort from Justin Portillo. Just didn't get enough on the ball. No curve, no dip, no influence whatsoever.
And now Mr. Williams is going to check on. He's obviously been in the Golden Boot race as well. However, this is a man who has not scored in some time.
It's crazy to think with Mario Williams sitting on, I believe it's 15 goals if I'm not mistaken. Like you said, though, hasn't scored in some time. So you can see, big hug and round of applause for his fellow teammate Cordovez.
And Cordovez has really done a superb job as emerging as another threat for the Charleston Battery. Mario Williams onto the scene here in the 66th minute. Big sweeping ball over for Calvert. It's over his head. Cooper off of his line, and Cooper's just going to have to clear it away, surrendering a throw into Charlotte deep in Charleston territory.
I was kind of hoping Alex Martinez was going to get on the back-ended run on the left side. It was a fantastic ball. Pinged across the pitch by Lewis Hilton.
Takes a deflection, goes out wide for Yearwood. Early delivery in, but Cooper's able to handle it. For more than 25 minutes remaining plus stoppage time. We've played over an hour here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Again, Tyler Terrens along with Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us in the 30th and final week of the USL regular season. Hard to believe that we're already in mid-October, but it is definitely the most wonderful time of the year. Playoffs right around the corner. And for Charleston, it looks like, at the moment at least, they will be the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, and the Charlotte Independents will be on the road, most likely at the Rochester Rhinos.
A little bit of a silver lining. They will be continuing their season on into the playoffs, I guess.
Johnson. 1v1 with Higashi. And when can we expect to see Charleston really pack it in and park the bus?
I mean, you're in the 67th minute, and they've been sparring a little bit here in the second half. Both squads going back and forth and toe-to-toe. No one really ready to step up to the line and show all their cards. As you can see, the coach is still shifting pieces around.
Enzo Martinez getting around the first defender and then taken down. About 30 yards out from goal. Little off center to the left for Charlotte. Now into the 68th minute. We'll take another look at the foul.
You can see Martinez just doing a great job once again, holding the ball up. Trying to turn Nunga around, and Nunga just took him down. And, you know, Martinez having a few choice French words that I'm probably not incorporating into my vocabulary on a regular basis.
Enzo Martinez standing on top of it. Looks like he's going to have a go. However, just clips it in. Duckett was there, but just couldn't get it right. Sails about 10 feet over the bar. Great opportunity as the former Notre Dame Irishman had a
tell you
three-header.
what, not only was Duckett there, but Caleb Calvert was crashing the back post. If I'm Calvert, I am actually screaming at the top of my lungs, asking for him to leave it. But again, a solid opportunity for Duckett nonetheless.
That's tough to leave it in that sort of situation.
It's difficult from a communication standpoint. How do you expect someone to have a point-blank reaction to a decision like that? And also, Duckett's got an opportunity to go to goal. So, no, you can't fault him. Calvert obviously frustrated, though, just wants to get on the board.
And now it looks like David Spees is getting ready to come in. Getting word that he might replace Alex Martinez. Charlotte trying to play, or rather Charleston trying to play their free kick quickly, but Independence cut it out. Lewis Hilton encouraging Joel Johnson forward on the near right-hand side. Herrera. Johnson with some good skill to get away from Higashi, however, has to go negative. Hilton. Somehow gets it out of tight quarters. Herrera is away. Herrera being nicked that by from behind. Herrera into the box. Takes a deflection. It'll be a corner.
And you can see that Martinez making a great run down the line.
Another good opportunity here for Charlotte from the corner. Still looking for that elusive first goal. Well, their hopes of hosting a playoff game are quickly slipping through their fingers. They need a 3-goal victory in order to do so. Down 1-0 at the moment. Martinez clips it in, flicked it to the back post, duck it, able to keep it in play, then nodded away by Lasso. And eventually cleared towards the other side. Charleston deal with another Charlotte threat.
And look how high the Independents are playing as well. Everybody pushed up for the sub piece on the corner, and nice ball swung into the back post, just couldn't get on the end of it.
Enzo Martinez committing the foul on Guerra, who was the lone goal scorer of the night.
Very kind of the Charlotte Independence fan to lend us their professional opinions of exactly what went on in the field. We appreciate that, guys. Thanks. And we are going to see the change.
And it's David Spies coming on and replacing Alex Martinez. So fresh legs for Mike Jeffries, and the man number 23, Alex Martinez, sees his day come to a close in the 71st minute. Spies, his day will start in the 71st as well.
I think Alex Martinez is going to be very frustrated with his output this evening. A lackluster performance at best. Just not really an integral piece in the closing part of this season. Trying to find his form coming down the stretch and just has really been unable to do so.
Mizell was trying desperately to play short, ends up doing so, and then eventually clears it away long. Mario Williams. Dispossessed by Charlotte. Spies puts the brakes on, eludes a couple of Charleston defenders. Who was Hilton with a big sweeping ball. Good pressure from Charlotte. They're able to win it back and keep it in play in one motion. Spies, big touch over for Enzo Martinez, but Spies was fouled first, right outside of the area where the horizontal and vertical line meet. And that's where the free kick will be for Charlotte, and it looks like it's going to be a yellow card for Taylor Mueller as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely impressive performance by Jorge Herrera, stepping into the corner, playing that high press, winning the ball back, and you can say Spies trying to get around Lasso. Lasso just goes to ground. Excuse me, Mueller stepping in, my apologies. And definitely going to get a yellow for that tackle right at the top of the box. But this is another one of those moments where the Independents have got to take advantage. The Battery gifting them multiple set-piece opportunities right at the top of the box.
Well, Herrera has already forced a world-class save out of Cooper and hit the crossbar. Have to imagine third time is the charm. Herrera going to lay it off for Johnson. He'll have it first time, but it's blocked by Higashi right around the PK spot.
Yeah, I kind of thought we were going to see that earlier on one of the set pieces. I really like the idea, but it's got to be a little bit more effective. When you play that ball across, it's got to go quicker. Joel Johnson has to have a much better angle.
Hilton going out wide for Yearwood, who's got plenty of time and space. Yearwood bending it in. Nodded away by Charleston, and they're going to thump it in the other direction. Cody Mizell way off of his line. Romario Williams pressuring him, and Mizell with a clever little chip, but right into the path of Higashi. His pass almost intercepted. This play is becoming a little bit sloppy here in the 74th minute. Still 1-0 to Charleston by way of Arturo Guerra's goal right around the 35-minute mark.
Our featured item of the game is the Independent Snapback Hat for only $20. We also have some brand new items in stock.
Horace Lasso.
Head on over and check out the Independent hats, shirts, and jerseys.
Van Schaik trying to get away from Spies. Good fall by Guerra, but it is offside.
Yeah, well done by Van Schaik, trying to push that ball through, but as you mentioned, Guerra just trying to pick the pocket a little bit too soon. Step behind the back line and couldn't get back onside.
Kalungi. Bilal Duckett. Spees in some space, but couldn't clean up his first touch. Enzo Martinez. Charlotte being very methodical and patient here. June Marquez Davidson. Out wide for Yearwood. Hilton. Back for June Marquez Davidson, who we probably expected to be subbed off at this point. He's making his first appearance in over a month after a nagging hamstring injury. And you can see Charleston's mentality at the moment, just try to win the ball back and send Romario Williams the other way. It's just Kalungi and Duckett back to help out. Charlotte, clever little back heel. Yearwood into the area trying to square it across, but Portillo is there and surrenders the throw-in.
Yeah, the Independents are pushing numbers forward. They're playing a very dangerous game, so when they're going to go, make sure you're very precise with your passes, because you break down like this, the Battery are going to try and take advantage of the space that's being opened up.
And we're getting word now that Toronto FC2 just picked up another goal ahead of FC Cincinnati, 3-2 now up in the North Country. As it looks like FC Cincinnati, for all intents and purposes, is going to be your number 8 seed in the 2017 Eastern Conference playoffs. Charlotte looking to operate quickly on the other end. David Spees sends it in. And eventually cleared away by Charleston, but only as far as Lewis Hilton. He's going to line up a shot, and that's way over the bar and into the patio.
Yeah, and you can just see the frustration continuing to mount for the Independents. Nice little ball knocked in from Spees from the right side of the pitch.
It's on your right here, okay? You don't go across your body when you're not on. Wait.
You can see the head coach of the Charleston Battery, Mike Anhauser, just letting him know that it's okay to know your right from your left at this age in your life. Good thing you let us know, because I didn't know for a while.
I still don't know.
We know.
Enzo Martinez sends it out wide for Spees. 1v1 with Van Schaik. Overlapping is Joel Johnson. Johnson into the area. It's not a bad effort. Calvert couldn't get there. However, June Marquez Davidson cuts it out. Davidson. Austin Yearwood in plenty of space on the far side. Bilal Duckett.
Battery recognizing your recommendation to switch the place.
Enzo Martinez drawing about a triple team on the near side. Still somehow gets it through to David Spees. It's tackled from behind. Now Romario Williams in a little bit of space, but cut down quickly by Bilal Duckett. It'll be a throw in the other way to the Charleston Battery, who are doing a good job of just managing the game and making life difficult for the Jacks.
Yeah, they're content. They're just, you can see it now. You asked me when, now is the time. 75th minute, they started. We're in the 79th minute right now. They're packing it in, and they're going to sit behind the ball and be patient. If they get the opportunity to turn around and go forward with Romario Williams, they will go and they'll go fast. Otherwise, they're more than happy to sit back and take anything that comes at them.
I mean, if somebody were to tell you at the beginning of the season that the Charlotte Independent, or not the beginning, the midway point, Charlotte Independents would be on the road at Rochester in the first round of the playoffs, and FC Cincinnati would be the 8th seed.
I called you a liar and a terrible person. But, you know, it's in this day and age, I guess it's something we're going to have to come to understand on a more regular basis, how the talent pool has risen up, and you're seeing teams go on these crazy runs and having lackluster performances as well. So it's great for the league to see teams climbing and dropping, but again, for the Charlotte Independents, you got to wonder what they're going to do to figure out what has gone so drastically wrong so quick, because even though it is a sinking ship, it hasn't sunk yet. You know, they definitely have the ability to repair it, but what that repair is, they just don't know.
I think the FC Cincinnati game a few weeks ago was very telling. Just a match where they had so many opportunities, couldn't put it away, then were gifted a penalty in stoppage time to try to equalize, and Herrera just could not get it past Mitch Hildebrandt, who indeed did say no. As Charlotte will concede a corner here. And that was just sort of the culmination and a telltale sign that this is a side who's really struggling.
Yeah, and it's kind of just progressed and spiraled out of control since there, as you said, because what a great performance they put in versus FC Cincinnati. They were able to do so much, carry all the possession, put up 15, 20-plus shots in a game at some points in time, and like you said, just stung by the counterattack goal, went down 1-0, and Herrera not able to convert from the spot in the closing moments of that game.
Portillo on top of the corner. Not a bad ball in. Mizell had to punch it away, and then helped along by Joel Johnson. Higashi trying to bend it back in. Takes a deflection off a Charlotte player, and it'll be another corner for Charleston.
And the other thing is get another look at the ball swung into the back post. Not the greatest of clearances by Cody Mizell. Got his hands on it nonetheless, but knocking it right back to Charleston in the middle of the field.
Would you rather your keeper try to catch that ball in that type of situation?
Yeah, it's a difficult ball to bring down in a grouping like that when you've got 10, 12 bodies of that stature right around you. You know, first and foremost, they're going to tell you to get both hands on it, punch away from your goal. If you can get both on it, try and do so.
This ball whipped in. It's a great ball in. Charleston still in the area. Higashi trying to squeeze through. Calvert comes away with it. Just tried to dink it over the top for Johnson, but Charleston will reclaim possession. Guerra bringing it down. Clever little play to get it through. Flag stays down, sent across. Charleston with numbers on the back post. Blocked by Kalungi. Charleston asking for a handball. They won't receive it. Now here's Williams, and he's just going to drag it to the corner. We're only in the 83rd minute, just barely. And Charleston able to win another throw, and we'll take another look.
There's some cheeky little ingenuity from the Battery. What a ball knocked to the back post. And like you said, Kalungi just recognizing what went on. Might have got away with a little bit of a handball there, but Kalungi stepping over nonetheless. He has done great for the center back position tonight.
And Kalungi unable to handle that little ball and surrenders another corner. And the referee, Daniel Gutierrez, did probably miss a handball in the box earlier. That would have been in favor of Charlotte. This one would have been in favor of Charleston, so I guess we're even at this point. Jan Ekra getting ready to come on for Charlotte. Lewis Hilton away from the defender, gets fouled in the process. And it is going to be a yellow card for Justin Portillo as he's shown mustard here in the 84th minute. Lewis Hilton is still down.
A yellow card presented to number 20, Justin Portillo.
And Justin Portillo made his presence felt a few times on the match tonight, so head referee Gutierrez going to have to step in and show him yellow for sure, as you're going to get another look. Lewis Hilton just trying to push the pace of the game and get to the sideline and go forward with numbers, but Portillo had other ideas.
And now a very offensive move from Mike Jeffries as Henry Kalungi comes off and Jan Ekra comes on here in the 84th.
Yeah, Kalungi's shift's done for the evening, but did a great job keeping his team in the game tonight. If it wasn't for that young man, it could be 2, maybe even 3-0. Great shift from Henry Kalungi, and like you said, Jan Ekra going to come in and try and throw everything they have at it in the final 8 minutes.
3 words for you. Jorge Herrera, bobblehead. Get your Jorge bobblehead with every 2018 season membership while supplies last. There's a limited number of
Duckett sending it forward, but nobody getting on to the end of it for Charlotte, and frustration continues to mount for the North Carolina side, who are down 1-0, and as it stands, will be traveling to Rochester in the first round of the 2017 Eastern Conference playoffs.
And you can just see it on the field too, Tyler. It's their heads are down, there's no real sense of urgency coming down. I mean, you've got 5 minutes left in the game. You're 1-0 down. We get it. You know, you may not be able to grab a full 3 points, but you never know. The match isn't over. Get up, start pressing. Put a little bit more emphasis and oomph into your efforts, because this isn't progressing well for you whatsoever.
Free kick for Charleston along the far right side. Charleston doing a lot more attacking than defending, heading down towards the stretch here. Garrett, a little clever ball through. Higashi back for Garrett, but he completely pulls his shot wide. It'll actually end up staying in play, and Joel Johnson carrying it up the near right flank.
Yeah, Bilal Duckett knew exactly what was going on. He stepped over and went on the 1v1 challenge. Well done by the Independence back line.
Charlotte moving forward now. Enzo Martinez with a little dip of the shoulder into the middle of the park. Finding Lewis Hilton. Hilton gonna line up a shot, almost gets all the way through. But a great diving effort from Forrest Lasso, as he has been Mr. Block throughout this entire match.
And once again, Forrest Lasso, we talked about him coming off that yellow card suspension, and Forrest Lasso just throwing everything in front of that ball as Lewis Hilton was trying to pick out that bottom corner. I think Cooper had him out of cupboard. The Independents trying to press a little bit here in the final moments of the game. Maybe scavenge a point if possible.
Towards the back post. Calvert is there to claim it. Charlotte with a little more than 4 minutes left, plus stoppage time to try to answer, as Calvert able to win a corner for Charlotte. Or perhaps it'll be a throw-in instead. Ref claiming that it was on the wrong side of the flag stick if you're on the Charlotte side of things.
It's always nice to hear the excellent repertoire of songs in the bootlook for the Independence fans.
To Marquez Davidson. Ekra in tons of space in the middle of the field. Now here's Lewis Hilton, gets it on his left foot, but pulls his shot wide.
You just help him. They're coming. You just go help. That's it.
Goal scoring struggles continue for the Charlotte Independents. It's 2 goals in their last 4 games. In danger of making 2 in the last 5. Or rather 2 in their last 5. It could be 2 in their last 6 by the end of the night. Well defended by Charlotte, or rather by Charleston, and it'll be another throw-in for the Independents. Spies. Away from Higashi, Enzo Martinez now in a little bit of space around the first defender. Martinez into the box, there's the first time shot, and again tipped over the bar by Cooper.
Disno Cooper having some sort of night here this evening, making save after save after save, constantly rising to the occasion. Great ball knocked back by Enzo Martinez. Lewis Hilton stepping to the penalty mark and has a go at goal, but once again, Disno Cooper just knocks it over to the bar, and the Independents cannot put anything past this man this evening.
Lewis Hilton does have 1 dramatic equalizer under his belt on the season, and that was against Ottawa just a couple weeks ago. But denied another one by Disno Cooper. Enzo Martinez slips. Getting word now that GB has just scored a very late goal for FC Cincinnati. They have now tied it at 3-3. They're tied with the Bethlehem Steel in 8th place right now. Bethlehem to play their final match tomorrow. That'll be against St. Louis FC. So a point would certainly put them in a position to perhaps get the 7th seed. Still work to do here for Charlotte. Frustration foul there from Joel Johnson. And Devin, you're motioning to the far left side of the pitch.
I think they've got communication issues. There's no spacing problems because they're giving themselves the opportunity to get into the right position. They're just not playing the right ball. You know, you're coming out of the back, going against the grain. Utilize what you have in front of you. Play that ball to the outside and spread the Battery team wide. But instead, they go right back into where everything's congested, end up turning the ball back over.
Getting word now that we'll have 4 minutes of stoppage time added on. As tempers continue to rise here. The Sportsplex in Matthews.
Gotta help, Jared. Come on, dude. Come on. Don't stand and assume. Stay there, Jared. You don't need
Charleston send it towards the corner. Not bad work, sent into the middle, but the touch not clean enough, and Mizell off of his line.
You know, Mizell knew exactly what was going on there. He knows the boys are fighting. The very last minute here, and very smart to step off of his line and gain composure, grab that ball.
Spees around Van Schaik, and it will be a foul. The Portland, Oregon native.
Spees came off the bench and had a nice little go at it, but as of late has been very quiet.
Charleston substitution, checking in for number 25. Kutaro Higashi will be number 24.
And now Rittmeyer going to come on, and Higashi to come off, and Higashi, of course, going to take his sweet time as the Charleston Battery just a few minutes away from perhaps clinching the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay Rowdy fans would be extremely happy if Charlotte were to somehow get an equalizer in the last couple of minutes.
Come on, Atula, well done.
Spees finding Ekra all the way through, and Cooper will fall on top of it. Charlotte in danger of their 5th straight loss, padding to that unwanted statistic of a franchise record. And just 1 goal in their last 5 games, 2 in their last 6 if it remains this way.
4th, man, he didn't do anything. The guy holds his foot, oh, gets a foul.
And now Rittmeyer, who's fresh onto the scene, is going to get a yellow card for standing in front of the ball.
Hey, ref, it's back.
It's about a minute left for Charlotte.
And Lewis Hilton stepping up on this one. We'd seen Herrera with the distribution duties, but Hilton going to try his luck at the game of poker in the middle of the box now.
It's a long ways out, probably about 40 yards on the angle as well.
Jared, you're too high. Jared, be ready to drop.
He's going to look for the likes of Bilal Duckett on the back post.
Hilton, great ball in. It was Ekra who rose for the header, but wasn't able to put it on frame. It'll be a goal kick for Cooper, and that might just do it. And that might just lock up the 2 seed for the Charleston Battery. Cooper, of course, going to take his time. And this is a Charleston Battery team who is looking for revenge on the Eastern Conference. Twice in the past 2 years, they've been ousted in the conference semifinals by Louisville City. They want to get back to the promised land and vie for an Eastern Conference championship, and better yet, a USL Cup. It started with 3 points here tonight, and they're just moments away from collecting all 3.
I'll tell you what, if Odisno Cooper is the only person that shows up onto the pitch, though not possible to play with one, he has proven that he is definitely up to the task. Well, he had a little jerk in his step there. You got to wonder if he ended up pulling something on that save. So we know he went down and sought treatment.
Enzo Martinez taken down. The referee says play on. Still time here for maybe one more opportunity for the Independents. Ekra. Over the top for Joel Johnson. Trying to cut it back. Some decent work taken down, but the referee says get up. And that's going to do it. Full time for the Sportsplex in Matthews. The Charleston Battery will be the #2 seed in the Eastern Conference, and the Charlotte Independents, after all of those wins in that 12-match unbeaten streak during the dog days of July, will be on the road at the Sportsplex at Capelli. Stunning here in Charlotte. Devin Kerr, your thoughts?
Yeah, you just saw Jeffries and Inhauser, old friends and familiar foes. Solid game, but very frustrating for the Independents. Congratulations to the Battery.
1-0 to the Battery is the final score here, and Matthews will be back in just a few moments with postgame.
Stringing Christmas lights takes forever. Now there's Star Shower Slideshow, the brightest way to decorate your home for the holidays. Dazzle with dozens of dancing designs. With easy slide technology, just pick a slide, insert, and play. It's a virtual explosion of exciting lights and colors. Choose the speed, slow, fast, or freeze. With water-resistant casing and extra long stake, it stays in the ground all year long. There's an indoor base for the best Christmas celebrations. Get Star Shower Slideshow with stake, indoor base, and 6 Christmas slides for just $39.99. Call within 10 minutes and get the 6-slide celebration package free. Enjoy birthday balloons, Valentine's Day hearts, fireworks, fun, colorful Easter bunnies, and 2 Halloween slides for the spookiest house. You get 6 Christmas slides, the 6-slide celebration package, the extra long stake, indoor base, and a lifetime money-back guarantee. Call now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee, so order now.
Call 1-800-477-8033 to get your Star Shower Slideshow. Call or visit by slideshow.com. So call 1-800-477-8033. Order now.
80% of us suffer from low back pain. Finally, there's Low Back Tracks, an effective way to help relieve low back pain.
Hi, I'm Lori Grenier. I'm an inventor and entrepreneur. I found Low Back Tracks because I had a loved one in pain, and I was so happy it really helped them. That's why I had to bring it to all of you.
Get Low Back Tracks for only $39.99. Call right now and you can get a second set. Just pay a separate fee. Plus, shipping is absolutely free. Available online at www.lowbacktracks.com.
Full time here at the Sportsplex at Matthews, and it just continues to get worse and worse for the Charlotte Independents. Now 5 losses in a row, and with this result, the Charleston Battery now the #2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs, and the Charlotte Independents, of all people, will be on the road in the first round to the Capelli Sports Stadium against the Rochester Rhinos. As the Rhinos will be the 4th seed, Charlotte Independents will be the 5th, and Charleston, of course, the #2 seed, with Louisville atop of everybody in the Eastern Conference. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from the entire 90 minutes, and a couple of opportunities early for Charlotte, but denied by Cooper.
Yeah, and we talked about the Independents coming out of the gates early and often, and they did well, but, again, just not a lot of creativity going forward. The Battery, you're going to see here, played a nice little triangle game. This is where they're going to get the goal, and again, ball started outside with Portillo, bounced inside. Started off with Chang, bounced inside to Portillo, then bounced back outside, and Guerrero just able to get in behind the back line and beat Mizell in the near post.
Again, we'll take another look at it. It was the ball from Higashi, and just a great little dink over Mizell finds its way in somehow, some way, for Atula Guerra's 6th goal of the season. Cordovez's goal-scoring frenzy was snapped here tonight. He had 5 straight games where he was scored at least 1 goal. Guerra gets the lone goal of the night, and then moments later, Herrera almost able to equalize.
Yeah, inside of a minute, the Independents deciding to try their hand as well, and just came out with a little fiery passion. Nice ball outside, played back in by Johnson. Martinez and Herrera trying to get it on the act, but again, the gentleman's name we kept calling all night long, Odisno Cooper, just continuously made save after save to keep his team in this game.
And then Charlotte would have to throw everything but the kitchen sink at Charleston for the remainder of the match. And Calvert, you can see there with a header off of the crossbar. Great opportunity.
Yeah, great ball floated in by Herrera. They had shifted him into the outside, and Calvert had stepped in up top on an isolated roll, but Calvert not able to convert. Wanted him to head that ball down, took it off the crossbar instead.
And then this looked like it might be the moment for Charlotte, but the assistant referee had his flag up.
And you and I both wondered whether or not Quentin Griffith kept him on side, but referee decided no, and back to the drawing board.
And the chances would continue to come right and left for Charlotte, but really nothing that would truly threaten Charleston, as Odisno Cooper wouldn't even have to make that save. Forrest Lasso with one of his many blocks on the night. And it just continues to be a frustrating end of the season for the Charlotte Independents. And here is the updated Eastern Conference playoff bracket. And as you can see, FC Cincinnati in the 8th spot as they look like are going to play to a tie with TFC 2. Now just have to wait on the Bethlehem Steel's result tomorrow against St. Louis FC. But Charlotte on the road at Rochester. Charleston have the possibility to host 2 playoff games.
Yeah, I mean, there are a boatload of interesting matchups here. I mean, the Red Bulls, too, are going to have to go to Al Lang Stadium down in Tampa. We talked about Capelli Sport. Obviously, Charlotte's going to be very frustrating for them. What is Cincinnati going to have to do to break down a very talented Lou City squad? And, again, the Battery doing a great job sliding into that 2 spot. I'm not really sure what's going to go down, but, you know, hoping for some upsets. But at the end of the day, just solid squads that have made their way into this Final 8 and looking forward to the future.
0-3 are the Charlotte Independents against the Charleston Battery on the season, and now fall to 2-6-2 on the all-time series. And now we'll take a look at our Wells Fargo save of the match. And, of course, it is going to be Odisno Cooper on this fantastic save on Lewis Hilton.
And Cooper was busy all night long, and Charlotte actually hit a dry spell movement-wise and going forward offensively, but the ball gets bounced around very nice. Herrera and Enzo Martinez playing a nice little 1-2 game, and as the ball's knocked in, you can see Martinez coming back out, cuts it back to the penalty spot, and Lewis Hilton getting on the act. Has a nice strike to the near post, but again, Odisno Cooper able to get his hands on it, making another vital save, bringing his team down the stretch.
Well, the Charlotte Independents have lost 5 straight, but nevertheless, they are heading on to the postseason to have a clean slate, and they will have to travel up to Western New York to take on Bob Lilly, Canardo Forbes, and the rest of the Rochester Rhinos for the Charleston Battery. They have to wait to see who their opponent is going to be as they have locked up the number 2 seed. Could it be Bethlehem or could it be FC Cincinnati? We'll have to wait until Brendan Burke and his side finish up their match against St. Louis FC tomorrow. For Devin Kerr, my broadcast partner, I'm Tyler Terrence saying so long for now from Matthews with a final score. Charleston 1, Charlotte 0. Thanks for joining, folks, and we'll talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.